Mark's my dad, not you. That little bombshell hit my living room like a damn Molotov cocktail, and for a split second, I couldn't even catch my breath. My boy Liam, he's 17 now, stood there, eyes burning with rage, hollering at me while his fists balled up tight. Right behind him was Jessica, my wife, or I guess my backstabbing, two-faced wife, arms folded, smirking like this whole mess was some twisted comedy show. I want you to cover Mark's medical bills, Liam went on. He's the one who raised me, all you did was fork over cash. My hand was shaking and bleeding a little as I yanked the DNA test out of my jeans pocket. Found this out just yesterday, you ain't my flesh and blood, kid. I shot a look at Jessica, but her face didn't budge, not a tear, not a twitch, just a sassy eye roll. Big deal, she said. You've been his daddy for 17 years, David. What, you gonna bawl about it now? I couldn't wrap my head around it, didn't want to. You knew all along. I muttered, voice barely above a whisper. Oh, David, she chuckled, that phony giggle she always pulled when she was lying through her teeth. Yeah, I knew. Mark and I didn't exactly call it quits after the dose. You were just too busy to notice. My heart didn't just break, it felt like someone doused it in gasoline and lit a match. What about Liam? I asked. She grinned, all smug. We figured we'd keep it hush-hush, but since you're in the know now, might as well let him meet the guy who actually made me feel something. My brain shut down, my hands went ice cold, and I just stood there, frozen. Then Liam stepped up. So, you gonna chip in for Mark's hospital costs or what? I blinked hard. Hold up, I said. You're asking me to pay for the cancer treatment of the dude who screwed my wife and made the kid I've been raising for almost 20 years? Jessica just nodded, cool as can be. It's the decent thing, David. You've got a solid job, Mark's broke. That's when something inside me cracked, not loud, not wild, just a quiet snap. I didn't yell or smash anything, I just grinned. Next morning, I was gone, not running, mind you, but plotting. See, when your whole world crashes down in one night, you've got two paths, crumble under the wreckage or torch it all and make M watch the flames. I walked out that house without a peep, no bag, no, see you later. Left my shirts, my cash, even the keys to that Dodge Charger I'd spent 3 years fixing up. Jessica could have it, she'd already ripped out way more than steel and tires. She took 17 years of my life and ground M into dust. But I didn't split to sulk, I left to get ready. 3 hours later, I rolled up to the one guy who'd never fed me a line, my lawyer, Peter Thompson. Picture thick glasses, a voice like a dying printer, and a mind sharp enough to slice through concrete. I slapped the DNA test on his desk. He pushed his specs up. You looking to cut all ties? I want to bury her, I said. Legally, financially, emotionally, whatever it takes. And if there's a way to screw over her boyfriend too, throw that in. Peter didn't flinch. And the kid? My jaw locked tight. He ain't mine. I didn't stick around for his preaching. I got up. Ring me when the papers are ready. That night, I crashed in my car, not 'cause I was broke, but 'cause I needed something raw, stiff leather, no soft pillows, just me and the ugly truth spinning in my head like a scratched-up CD. Jessica faking it while Mark probably had her in our bed. Liam screaming, calling some other guy, Dad. And then there's my mom, oh, we'll get to her. Next day, I swung by her place to grab some papers, and she sat me down with words I'll never shake. Let it go, David, she said, real calm, sipping her tea. You've got a death sentence hanging over you. Don't waste your last month stewing in anger. I stared at her, dumbfounded. What did you just say? She didn't even blink. You heard me right. Jessica told me about your diagnosis, few months left. Focus on finding some peace. My hands clenched into fists again. I ain't dying of nothing. What in the hell are you even saying? I shot at her. Mom's eyes got big, like she'd just stepped on a landmine. Jessica told me you were sick, dying, even, she stammered. Said that's why she had to move on, why she brought Mark into Liam's world. I got up real slow, my throat dry as a desert, but my blood was simmering like a pot about to boil over. Let me get this right, I said, voice low and tight. Jessica fed you some line about me kicking the bucket so she could sleep easy about banging another guy in my own house? Mom started backtracking fast. She swore you were in on it, David, that you'd made your peace, that you wanted Liam to have a strong figure when you were gone. I almost cracked up laughing right there, but instead, I just stared at her like she was some alien I'd never met. I ain't dying, Mom, but after this, I might as well start drafting eulogies, 'cause these folks are already ghosts to me. She reached out to grab my hand, all soft like. David, she's just scared, you can't hold that against her. I yanked my hand back quick. Don't you ever mention her name to me again. And just like that, Mom got scratched onto the list of people I was done with. No more talking, no more tears, time to do something about it. Over the next few days, I turned into a shadow. Checked into motels with names that weren't mine, cash only, no trail. I got a second PI on the payroll to dig through Mark's money mess, and man, we hit the jackpot. Turns out Mr. Real Dad was drowning in debt, back taxes piling up, plus a sealed assault charge he probably thought was buried. A couple of quiet phone calls later, the IRS came knocking, and Mark fired from his gig. That was just the warm-up, though. Jessica didn't have a clue yet. I shut down our joint bank account, every penny she thought she was swiping from our savings turned into a brick wall. The kicker. I left her just enough for one last splurge, a first-class ticket to nowhere. Set her up with a fake girls' retreat to Miami, something she'd won from a radio scam I cooked up. Knew she'd bite, loved flaunting her life on Instagram. When she landed, though, it hit her, no fancy car waiting, no hotel, just a sign with her name and a fat stack of divorce papers. She blew up my phone, texts, calls, the works. I didn't pick up once 'cause I wasn't even close to done. This wasn't payback yet, this was just the opening act, and my next play was gonna have him all crying for a break. Jessica rang me 23 times that day, I kept count. Started off with the usual whining, David, what's this about? Where's the hotel? Where's my retreat? Then the freakout kicked in, my card's not working, I can't even grab a cab. What's happening? By call 15, she flipped the script, you think this is a game? You're gonna wish you hadn't, you lunatic. Yeah, I'm the lunatic, not the chick who let some dude play daddy to my kid, not the one who convinced my own mom I was on death's door to cover her cheating. I didn't answer a damn thing, just sat there grinning as the voicemail transcripts piled up on my screen. She had no idea that fancy phone I got her for our anniversary was now pinging her location live. Watched her stomp around Miami International like a clueless out-of-towner, and I loved every second. But this wasn't just about making her squirm, this was phase 2. I wasn't stopping till every one of them who'd gutted me felt that same hollow ache. While Jessica was flailing down in Miami, I was back home, eyeballing Mark from across the street like a hunter stalking a deer. Guy was a walking cliché, loud-ass car, tacky watch, greasy grin, and a routine I could set my clock to. Every Tuesday, he'd hit up a poker night with some work buddies, but last week, he rolled in way past midnight. I tailed him, not to the card game, but to some random house I'd never seen. Thought maybe he was hustling on the side, till I spotted her, young, maybe 22, blonde, rocking his hoodie. She planted a kiss on him right there on the porch like it was old news. So the guy who wrecked my home was two-timing the woman he took from me. Too perfect. I bided my time for a day, then made my move. Fired off an anonymous text to Jessica from a burner, attached some nice, clear shots of Mark and his little side piece that I angled those pics just right so Jessica could see the girl's belly, yep, looked pregnant. Couldn't say for sure, but I rolled the dice anyway, and damn, did it pay off. 10 minutes later, my phone lit up with her meltdown. "Jessica, you filthy rat. How long's this been going on? You made me pick you over David for this? For some guy with a knocked-up side chick?" She lost it completely. Next thing I know, she's on the horn with Mark's boss, spilling every dirty secret, his old assault rap, the tax dodging, the sketchy stuff he pulled at work. Didn't even need to lift a finger myself. By lunchtime, Mark was out of a job. Later that night, I parked across the street and watched the landlord boot him out of his apartment. I'd dropped an anonymous tip about the unpaid rent and some weird behavior I made up. There he was, suitcase in hand, yelling into his phone, probably at Jessica, who I bet was spitting venom right back. And Liam? Poor kid didn't see the tornado coming till he walked in from school and saw the house half empty, his mom slumped on the couch sobbing after her Miami fiasco, and a court notice slapped on the table screaming, "Paternity fraud lawsuit," in big red letters. I fired off one last text to him, "So Mark's your real dad, huh? Cool. Go crash with him. Oh, right, he's got no place to sleep." That night, I posted up alone at a rooftop bar, nursing a whiskey. The city lights twinkled below, all peaceful-like, oblivious to the chaos I'd just unleashed and conquered. But even with all that sweet revenge, I wasn't settled, not yet, 'cause one person hadn't reached out, my mom. She's the one who told me to suck up the cheating, who took Jessica's side, who swallowed that lie about me dying without even checking with me once. So I figured it was time to swing by her place, not to patch things up, but to settle a score. Betrayal's a funny thing, it stings worse when it's your own family twisting the blade. I pulled up a block from Mom's house, not to be sneaky, but 'cause I needed a minute to cool the fury bubbling under my skin like hot tar. Rang the bell once. She opened the door, rocking that same old pastel cardigan, flashing a gentle smile and those warm eyes, total fake mom vibes. "David," she said, "thank God. I've been hoping you'd come hash things out." I stepped in, didn't say a word. Scoped out the living room like I was walking into a war zone. Looked the same as when I was a kid, only now it reeked of double-crossing. She trailed me into the kitchen. "I get that you're upset, but," I shut her down fast. "Stop." She blinked, startled. "Honey, nah, don't honey me. I ain't your sweet little boy. I'm the dumbass who raised some other guy's kid for 17 years while you stood there grinning, pretending you were clueless." Her lips started quivering. "I didn't know at first, I swear, but you found out eventually," I cut in, ice in my voice. "When she told you I was on my deathbed, a few months left, and you bought it hook, line, and sinker without even picking up the phone to ask me." She sank into a chair, like her knees couldn't hold her up anymore. "She said you didn't want to talk about it, that you were pretending it wasn't real, that Liam needed someone steady and she needed a rock." I leaned over the table, close enough she couldn't dodge my stare. "So what was your big idea? Help her cozy up to her new guy while I just fade out and croak nice and quiet?" She looked off to the side. "I never wanted to hurt you." I let out a dry laugh. "That's the kicker with betrayal, Mom, it ain't the strangers who get you. It's the ones who hug you while they're sliding the knife in." Tears started rolling down her face. "Good," I said. "You want to know what cuts deepest? I spent years thinking you were my rock, that no matter what went down, you'd have my back." "I didn't know what to do," she mumbled, barely audible. "You could have dialed my number," I snapped back. "One lousy call, Mom." "Hey, David, you really dying?" "That's it, that's all it would have taken." She shook her head slow. I thought she was being straight with me. She was bawling, saying she didn't want to lose you, but she had to look out for Liam's future. I pushed myself up from the table. "You really think she didn't want to lose me? She ditched me the minute she let some other dude turn our home into his personal flophouse." Mom buried her face in her hands, bawling hard. "You're my boy," she choked out. I locked eyes with her, cold as steel. "Then start acting like my mom." She lifted her head, eyes all puffy and red. "What's your next move?" "I'm gonna rip apart everything they hold dear and light it up," I said. "Not with matches or anything nuts like that, just their money, their friends, their feelings. I'm only warming up." I left her sitting there, gasping through her tears. But as I hit the door, her voice chased me down. "She was already pregnant when you tied the knot." I stopped dead. "Say what?" "She wasn't sure who the dad was," Mom murmured, barely audible. "Told me it was likely you, but there was a shot it could have been Mark, or some other guy. Said it didn't matter, 'cause you were the safe bet. You'd love her no matter what, raise the kid regardless." I turned back real slow. "So she turned me into her safety net," I growled, voice low and tight. "Made me the chump who'd hand her a cozy life while she kept sneaking around for kicks." Mom gave a quiet nod. "And you went along with it," I said. "You helped her spin that web of lies, 'cause it was simpler than facing the mess." She didn't say a word, but her eyes screamed regret, too damn late now. "I'll mail you the court docs," I told her. "You're taking her to court?" "I'm dragging all of them through it." Then I walked out, slamming the door, not soft, not forgiving, but like a guy who just shoveled dirt over the last shred of his old life. Next up on my hit list. Crashing Liam's graduation bash, and I wasn't showing up with just a handshake. They didn't invite me, naturally, but I rolled up anyway, not to cheer him on, but to drop a truth bomb right in their smug little faces and let every guest soak in the fallout. Jessica's sister was hosting it at her big fancy mansion, white tents, high-end food, those cheesy gold balloons spelling out, "Congrats, Liam." Folks were sipping wine, acting like their family wasn't a total train wreck. I parked a couple blocks away, slipped in through the back fence, and blended into the crowd like I owned the place. Rocked a slick black suit, shades, and a grin fueled by pure spite. Music was pumping, people were chuckling. Jessica was over there clinking glasses, beaming like her life hadn't imploded a few days back. Mark was a no-show, still broke, jobless, probably crashing on somebody's lumpy sofa. Bet she told everyone he couldn't make it, spineless jerk. Liam, though, was the star of the show, snapping pics with folks who didn't have a clue what was real. I bided my time, till the toast kicked off. Jessica grabbed the mic, voice dripping with honey. "Thanks, y'all, for coming out to celebrate our incredible boy. He's off to UCLA this fall, and we couldn't be prouder." I stepped up. "Only he ain't my boy." Gasps hit the air. Heads whipped around. Jessica stood there, mic in hand, like a deer in headlights. "Go on, Jessica," I said. "Spill it, or you want me to do the honors." "David, what the hell are you pulling?" she hissed, teeth gritted. "Just dishing out some truth," I said, cranking my voice louder. "Since this whole shindig's built on a pile of crap, I figured we could all use a dose of reality." The crowd went quiet as a graveyard. 17 years back, I went on, this lady stood up in front of God, my kin, and everybody, vowing to love me. Said she was carrying my kid. Turns out that baby was never mine, not even close. Jessica lunged toward me, face flaming. "You're wrecking his big day." "Nah, I'm fixing it," I fired back. "I'm handing him the one thing you never gave him, the straight story." I swung around to Liam, who was just standing there, eyes bugging out. "Wanna call Mark your dad?" "Fine by me, but here's the deal, he was stepping out on your mom the whole time, got a 22-year-old pregnant last year. That's why he's been MIA, I said. Liam's jaw hit the floor. Jessica made a grab for the mic, but I whipped out my phone and held it high. Got it all right here, recordings, texts, DNA proof. This ain't gossip, it's cold, hard facts. Some lady in the back muttered, "Is this for real?" I turned her way. Damn right it's real. For 17 years, I got played, raised a kid that wasn't mine, footed the bills, juggled 2 jobs while she was shacking up with Mark in my own bed. Jessica opened her mouth, but I wasn't done yet. Here's the cherry on top, I said, my grin turning sharp. They fed my mom a story about me dying just to smooth over her cheating, made it so she'd nod along, so Jessica could slide from wife to widow without breaking a sweat. Folks started staring at Jessica, and it wasn't pity in their eyes, it was revulsion. She cooked up a fake disease for me, I said, all to clear space for a loser who can't even hold down a paycheck. Liam bolted, shoving through the crowd. Jessica's sister barked, "David, get the hell out." I spun toward her. "What, 'cause I shattered your little fairy tale? 'Cause I busted the fantasy wide open and now the truth's spilling everywhere?" Security started closing in. I threw my hands up. "I'm finished," I said. "But, Liam, if you ever want to know the whole deal, I'll send you the proof. Just remember, I loved you like my own, even if your mom made damn sure you never felt the same." Then I walked out, no shouting, no scuffle, just the truth dropped like a grenade in their happy little party. Behind me, it was dead quiet, no clapping, no tunes, just that heavy hush you get after a casket's lowered. I'd killed their big lie that day, and I was the one who shoveled the dirt. 3 days later, Liam showed up at my place. Looked like a different kid, hair a mess, eyes sunk in, voice dull as dishwater. "You said you had the files," he mumbled. "I wanna see 'em." Didn't say a thing, just stepped back and let him in. We sat there quiet for a bit, the kind of silence that weighs more than a screaming match. Then I slid a USB drive across the table. "Everything's on there," I said. DNA results, voice clips, Mark's cheating texts, bank records, even the letter your mom sent mine claiming I was on my last legs. He eyed that drive like it might bite him, then finally said, "Why'd you keep it from me?" I looked at this kid I'd raised, the one I'd taught to pedal a bike, sat up with through fevers, balled over when he snapped his leg in middle school. "You weren't ready for it," I said. "And I was too damn terrified of losing you." He swallowed hard. "So I'm not your son?" he asked. I let out a long breath. "Not by blood, but I was your dad every single day, every year, till you told me I didn't count." He stared at the floor, foot tapping like a nervous tick. "I didn't know," he whispered. "She always said you were checked out, icy. Said Mark got her, that you didn't give a damn about us." "Didn't give a damn?" I leaned in, heat creeping up my neck. "Liam, I busted my ass 70 hours a week for your braces, your soccer camps, that slick prom tux. I poured everything into your mom, every ounce of me, and when I was too wiped to chat or too stressed to crack a smile, that's when she spun me into the bad guy." His voice broke. I didn't know who was telling it straight. "You went with the slickest liar," I said. "She's Oscar-worthy, kid. You were just front row for the show." He raked a hand through his hair. "I'm sorry." "Are you?" I shot back. "'Cause when you stood there and said Mark was more of a dad, you didn't flinch, didn't even blink." "I was pissed," he said. "Thought you were bailing, leaving us in the dust." I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "Nah, man. I got shoved out, tossed aside by Mark, a deadbeat, while your mom played house with him under my roof. And you? You passed her the blade." Tears started slipping down his face now, not loud, just quiet streaks on a kid too young for this kind of backstabbing. "What's next?" he asked. I leaned back in my chair. "It's your call now," I told him. "You're almost 18, figure out if you want to face the facts or keep clinging to that busted lie." He glanced at the USB again, then snatched it up. "I didn't sign up to be stuck in this mess," he said. "Yeah, well, me neither," I shot back. "But here we are, kid." He got to his feet, paused for a second, then locked eyes with me. "Thanks," he mumbled, real quiet. "For raising me, even if I didn't earn it. I didn't say a damn thing. He walked out, and for the first time in weeks, something weird hit me, not quite peace, but close enough to taste it. Still, I wasn't finished. One last player hadn't felt my hand yet, the guy who'd greased the wheels for all this from the sidelines, Jessica's boss, the slick bastard who covered her cheating, stashed her cash, and faked her papers. I had a plan brewing for him, one final gut punch, 'cause Jessica thought she had a safety net. She figured her little network was bulletproof, but she forgot I'd spent years quietly piecing together people's weak spots, and I'd just found his. His name was Daniel Reed, big shot VP at Wilcox Financial. Guy strutted around in tailored suits, flashed a Rolex vibe, not literally 2 watches, but you get me, and helped Jessica squirrel our money into offshore accounts before the divorce even hit the table. I knew his breed, schmoozed with CEOs on the golf course, sipped whiskey that cost more than my monthly rent, thought honesty was just a buzzword for suckers, and best of all, he was drowning in dirty little secrets. Took me 2 weeks, one shady hacker, and a bitter ex-employee to crack into Howard's private stash. What I dug up. Pure dynamite. Turns out Mr. Cleancut was running a side gig, siphoning client cash through fake companies linked to Jessica's real estate deals. Some were legit, some were sketchy as hell, all set up to wash money and shield it from lawsuits. He didn't do it out of kindness, Jessica kept him quiet with hush money and favors I won't detail. But the real kicker that had me grinning? A recording of him telling some coworker to bury any paper trail showing Jessica fudged her taxes. She's spotless on the books, he bragged. No one's touching her. Wanna bet, Howard? I bundled it all up, every shady transfer, every doctored signature, every illegal shield, into a neat digital package and fired it off to 3 folks, a college buddy who's now an investigative reporter, an IRS fraud division guy I'd crossed paths with through work, and Howard's wife. No yelling, no social media rants, just letting his own life eat him alive from the inside. 2 days later, the headlines screamed, Senior VP probed for fraud, money laundering. Howard tried to spin it, claimed it was a smear job, bitter rivals, blah blah blah. Then the emails dropped, the screenshots surfaced, and that audio hit the airwaves. Jessica. Her name was tangled in half the docs, accounts locked, assets grabbed, her red-faced mug shaking on the morning news as the queen of a financial scam show. I kicked back at home, sipping lousy bourbon, watching the whole circus collapse. No more cushy yoga getaways, no more Botox and mimosa mornings, no more playing the sweet mom who just wanted love. She was the star of a crime saga now. And the sweetest part? I didn't even have to touch her, just handed the world the truth and let it do the work. But it wasn't over for me, not yet, 'cause something still gnawed at my chest like jagged shards in my lungs. I'd loved her once, dumb and deep, and now that love was festering inside me like a dead rat in the drywall. I had to wrap this up, not for payback, but to break free. So I sat down and wrote Jessica one last letter. No cussing, no threats, just words that I scratched out 13 words on that letter. You tore me apart, so I turned into your worst nightmare. Sent it off with no way to trace it back, then did what I should have done ages ago, swapped my number, trashed every picture, chucked my wedding band into the river, and snagged a one-way ticket out of town. This place wasn't home anymore, not the roads, not the skyline, not the memories dripping with fuel and flames. I needed to get gone. But before I split, there was one last thing on my list, something low-key, something just for me. It meant a trip to the cemetery, to a grave without a marker yet. When I was ready to put something to rest for good, it was a gray morning, the kind where the air's thick with damp concrete and old regrets. I stood by myself in that graveyard, at a bare patch of grass under a gnarled oak. No official tombstone, no dates, just my spot. In my grip was a little wooden box, packed with the last scraps of my old life, Jessica's sweet-talking letters, Liam's goofy Father's Day cards, a snapshot of our sham family grinning at Disneyland, and that beat-up ring I wore for 17 years, scratched and tarnished like the lies it stood for. I dropped to my knees, carved out a hole with a spade, no fancy tools, no gloves, just me clawing through the mud. When it was deep enough, I set the box in there. For a second, I froze, hand lingering over the lid, tempted to hang on to one piece, one tiny shred of what we'd been. Then her smirk flashed in my head, the one she flashed while spinning tales, stepping out, making me raise some other guy's kid. So I snapped the lid shut, piled the dirt back on, pressed it flat with my hands, and muttered, "You're done renting space in my brain." Right then, I felt it, not calm, not happiness, but room, like a wide-open stretch where all that anger used to squat. I got up, brushed the muck off my palms, and glanced at the sky. Clouds still loomed, heavy and gray, but they were shifting, and I was too. Later that day, I made one final stop before vanishing, a little garage on the town's outskirts. The guy who ran it owed me one. I'd helped his brother dodge a DUI rap years back. Now he slid me the keys to a rebuilt '72 Chevy Impala. "No records," he said. "No prying. Just what I needed." I pointed that car west, rolling through nowhere towns with strangers' faces and roads without names. With every mile, the load lightened, not completely, but enough to suck in a full breath. Crashed in dive motels, swapped aliases, got a fresh phone, wiped every hint of the old me. David the husband, David the dad, David the sucker, all dust. Now I'm just a guy with raw wounds and a patched-up spirit. But if you're out there, if you're a dude like me, here's the deal: she doesn't come out on top, not when the long game plays out, not when the lies cave in, not when the mask slips and everyone clocks what you knew all along. She might swipe your cash, trash your rep, even turn your own kin against you. But you've got something she'll never get: honor. Jessica pegged me as soft 'cause I didn't roar when she cheated, didn't smash stuff or torch her wardrobe. Thing is, strength ain't loud. It's walking off with your head up. It's forging hurt into something sharp. It's cutting loose, not 'cause you're over it, but 'cause you won't haul her garbage anymore. So, fellas, if she stabbed you in the back, don't just scrape by, rebuild, start fresh, turn into someone she wouldn't even recognize. The best payback? Living a life where she's irrelevant. Trust me, that day rolls around. It did for me. I ain't fixed, I ain't complete, but I'm free. And sometimes, that's all you need.